had a particularly hard impact on people in care homes and those that couldn't visit them. COVID might seem a bit of an afterthought for many now, but it seems there are still people who have problems trying to visit loved ones if there's an outbreak in a home. Campaigners have now managed to secure a backbench business debate in the House of Commons to discuss Gloria's Law, which could potentially be the legal right for anyone in the health and social care system to have at least one essential care supporter in any circumstances. Well, co-founder of Merseyside-based Rights for Residents, Diane Mayhew, is one of those who have been trying to get this debate, and I'm really pleased to say she joins me now. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
No, thanks for taking the time early Monday morning here. So just remind us, Diane, about the campaign that you first started and how it did become about.
Well, the campaign came about because, unfortunately, my partner's mother was in a care home at the time, at the height of the pandemic, and we literally had to sit and watch her deteriorate through a window.
Yeah.
And the impact that locking people away has had, particularly on people with dementia, has been immense. And we recognised quite early on that it wasn't just COVID that was killing people. Isolation also kills. So we set up Rights for Residents to try and raise awareness of, what this is doing to people. And then since then, I've had many successes. In April this year, the government lifted all visiting restrictions, which we were absolutely ecstatic about, and they replaced it without management guidance only. So we felt like, our campaign had been extremely successful. So what should be happening is that during an outbreak, every resident, as you quite rightly pointed out, should have at least one person visiting at any time. And that doesn't have to be the same person each time. But what's actually happening is that, a lot of care homes are not following outbreak management guidance. And so we decided to conduct a survey 4 weeks ago just to see how widespread this was. And 60% of relatives told us that care homes were imposing additional restrictions to that of the official guidance. And that kind of ranges from, the guidance states that if someone's negative, they are allowed outside the home for a visit, subject to a risk assessment. But 1 in 7 relatives told us that that's not happening. No. I think also a lot of care homes a third told that they are only allowing one person and it has to be the same person. And also during an outbreak, 1 in 5 are isolated in their own rooms. So, this is a far cry from what outbreak management is telling us should be happening during an outbreak.
Yeah. And Diane, you've got the support, excuse me, you've got the support from MPs for this, and the debate is on Thursday. How important is this for your campaign, to have the support of the MPs and the campaign?
This is absolutely massive. Liverpool MP Dan Carden has been working with us for some time now, and he's managed to get the support of a Conservative MP, Tracy Crouch, and also Daisy Cooper from Lib Dems, and together they've organised this backbench business debate. We had this issue isn't political, it's a human issue.
Yeah.
Dan's been personally affected himself. And we wrote a letter back in May to the then Health Secretary, been a couple more since then, and 60 MPs across parties signed the letter calling for the legal right, because they recognise this is not a luxury that we're asking for. It's an absolute necessity. And, if we have any future pandemics or variants, it's vital that everybody in a care home has the right to at least one essential care supporter in any circumstances.
Yeah.
Because we've got to protect the mental health and well-being. The vaccine's protecting them from COVID, but what's protecting the mental health and well-being?
Yeah.
So this is vital.
It's interesting, Diane. I've done lots of films for the One Show. We've gone across the country and visited many care homes, and one of the things that I found when I was talking to lots of people and lots of staff in there is that it's the communication that was helping people get better and was helping keeping people's mental health, at a steady rate. It's that connection, isn't it? It's that human contact and human connection that's vital.
Absolutely, because I speak from personal experience myself. My own father died on the 6th of April in hospital.
Ugh.
On his own, no family there at all. His wife wasn't there. When the ambulance came to get him, the last words that he said to my mum were, "Are you not coming with me?" Can you imagine
I can't.
that person? You know, and we're left with that legacy now. We're haunted by it. That was in 2020. We're now in 2022. We've got vaccines. We've got things to protect us against COVID. There is absolutely no rhyme or reason why this should be happening. We're not asking people during an outbreak to open the doors and let everyone in.
Yeah.
But what we're asking for is that one put somebody's wife. Can you imagine having to make an appointment to see your own wife or son or daughter? That's what's happening. Our survey actually said it's just as concerning that even outside of an outbreak, 45% of relatives told us that they are still facing restrictions. Why?
Yeah.
So unless the legal right is passed, this issue is going to continue, because some care homes, and it does beg the question, why are they doing this when many other care homes aren't, and they aren't reporting any more outbreaks than the ones who are. So it's becoming quite sinister now.
I guess here's the thing, Diane, is that you mentioned the big why there. Why is it happening? Do you think are care homes just trying to take all precautions necessary to cover themselves? Do you think?
Well, I think that there'd be some truth in that if the majority of care homes were also imposing these restrictions, but they're not. And as I said, they're not reporting any more outbreaks than the ones that aren't. So, it does beg the question, why are they doing this? There is no reason anymore, because the government have told us that, we've got to learn to live with COVID, just like we have to learn to live with flu. They're fully vaccinated. Why have we bothered vaccinating these vulnerable people if we aren't going to allow them to see the people that mean most to them? And at the end of life, many people are being prevented from spending precious time with those that they love, and there's absolutely no reason for it anymore. And next Thursday, between 2 and 5 p.m, that's what MPs will be debating. And I just hope and pray with all my heart that glorious law will be passed, because when they hear some of the stories that they've asked to hear, that will be discussed on the day, people are going to be really shocked.
Yeah, I think lots of people tuning in and listening to what you're talking about there, and Gloria's law will be shocked as well, and will be asking the question. I think we can all understand that during lockdown, and we all, although we didn't like it, we all appreciated the fact that it was a necessity to keep the doors closed, but not now, surely.
No, not when everybody else in society is just going about the business. I mean, can you imagine the outcry from people in the community if they were faced with restrictions like this? They wouldn't accept it, would they? And yet, these people are being discriminated against just because they're unfortunate enough to either be in hospital or live in a care home, and it's not right. We are the eyes, ears, and voice of these people.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't communicate without that help of that essential care supporter. You wouldn't expect a blind person not to have a guide dog. That's what we're talking.
It's common sense, isn't it? It's common sense, the way I can see that there, and listening what you're saying. I'm sure lots of listeners will appreciate that as well. Diane, good luck with everything, and I hope the debate goes well with Gloria's law. And thanks for taking the time out to talk to us this morning, and the best of luck with it. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Have a good day. That's co-founder of Merseyside-based Rights for Residents, Diane Mayhew. and that she's one of those people who's trying to get this debate up and running, which is happening. Gloria's law. I mean, it's shocking, isn't it, to think that that is still going on. Yeah, we could understand that when we were in lockdown, but not now when everybody. And I think that's what Diane's saying, is that everybody's going out and doing their own thing, going on about their business. So why shouldn't it be happening in care homes? Yeah, it's a shocker, that one, isn't it? I could just feel Diane's pain there as well. Okay, 7:30.